started? Okay. Hello everyone, this is Ms. Pillai here. So we are shooting another episode of Rendezvous with Scientific Minds. So today we have a guest, Dr. Sheetal Sawant. Let me introduce her briefly. Dr. Sheetal Sawant is Assistant Professor in Somaiya College of Education. Her educational qualifications are MCom, MEd and MPhil. She is set qualified and has completed her doctorate in education. She has taught subjects in B.Ed like childhood and growing up, pedagogy of commerce and economics, educational management, and then masters in education, management of education, history, politics, economics of education. She has 19 years of experience, which is a gold we should say, and in the field of education itself, absolutely. She has worked for 10 years as a field coordinator for the Department of Lifelong Learning and Extension. She has published national and international papers which are absolutely wonderful. So today we will be talking about new education policy and imbibing the concept of economics in it. So welcome Dr. Sheetal.
Yeah, thank you so much Mahalakshmi for introducing me, and we will be speaking more on the National Education Policy 2020 and how it has a greater impact on the economic growth and development of our country, for our future developments, how it is going to be having greater effects in the field of education, in the field of GDP and every aspects of economic, how it is going to help us out. We are going to gain information on this today.
Absolutely. We want our conversations to be so simple that people would love to get to know more about the policies of education, and not just knowing, but they should also implement in their schools, respective schools and educational institutes. So let us begin with the rapid fire round, Dr. Sheetal.
Yes,
let us start. I'm too excited actually. So first question to you is, how do you think the National Education Policy of 2020 will shape India's future workforce in terms of economic productivity?
As we see now, in National Education Policy 2020 is already implemented, and in the school of education, or in right from primary level to higher education level, in every level, if we can see, the implementation has already started, and the schools, colleges and universities have working on it, and we can see the growth, and we can see in every areas whatever the NEP recommendations have been given, have been started implementing, because right from training of the teachers to implementation at the classroom level has been at its growth level, we can see, and there is a transition we can see right from the olden techniques and methodologies which were being implemented. We could see the change in today's NEP, what the NEP demands, and it is actually practically happening in the classroom situation.
Okay, so before going deep down into NEP, we need to understand that why this policy was made.
Okay, when we see the previous policies and now if we see the NEP, if we study the NEP policy, we could see the deep insight into it, because what the philosophers, our great philosophers, whether it is Mahatma Gandhi ji, whether it is Rabindranath Tagore, whether it is Swami Vivekanand, they all were used to emphasize on the practical learning. That is the experiential learning. And now what the NEP is demanding, the same thing. Don't just give theoretical knowledge. It is more important that how we are going to use this theoretical knowledge in the practical aspect, and how it is going to help in the future aspect of that student who is becoming the future citizen of our country.
Great. So the next question to you is, what role does NEP 2020 play in improving India's economic competitiveness globally?
Yes.
Now we are looking into global aspect, ma'am. So like how the policies are actually affecting the
right.
Yeah.
So if we see now, last 20 years, if we see from the economic point of view, we are much ahead. And if we see in this competitive world, at the global level, if we see, we are at also with par with the global level.
Yeah.
So we are trying to do our best, because the industrial revolution, through industrial revolution, we could see many international companies coming in, and we are seeing the growth in the industrialization. People are migrating from the remote areas and coming in search for a job. Economic point of view, plus in education point of view, if we see, there is much change in these areas, because now we are making our students to see to it how they can earn their better bread and butter for their future.
Great.
So it is very important now कि from economic point of view, if we will see the investment in the public institution as well as in the private institutions, private schools, I could say, and the universities, there is a drastic change from the olden times to today's era.
So to put it very simply, you mean to say we are getting more opportunities now?
Yes.
Okay.
So of course, previous time we were having only faculties like science, commerce and arts. But now we can see there are varieties, there are a hell lot of options open to the students where their interest, what is their interest, if they want to do something in journalism, if they want to do something in photography, if they want to do something in biotechnology, there are options made available. And we could see in this last 15 years there is a drastic change, and what now NEP is demanding, that only try to cater to the students' interest.
Great answer, ma'am. Next question to you is, how can reforms in NEP 2020 address the economic disparities in educational access across different regions?
Okay. If we see from different regions point of view, yes, rural and urban divide we can say, or we can say some of the states are well developed, some of the states are still on a developing stage, and some are still underdeveloped. Now there again the NEP, if we see the focus is how from this regional disparities which have been there, how we can remove these disparities and at one level how all the states can work. And that's why the NEP implications are to be tried to channelize in every state in that point of view, whether it is in the educational area or whether it is from economic point of view. We could see the changes. There are many institutions, private universities as well as private schools coming up and giving more and more advantage and interest towards the higher educations. Previously, people used to migrate from one particular state and used to come to Maharashtra for higher education. But now the opportunities are being made available so that the students can gain his education at his own place, and it will be more accessible to the student. So the regional disparity which is there, whether it is the language problem or it is whether it is from the economic problem or from the educational problem, the government has put forward many schemes and yojanas which will help the future citizens of our country.
So basically you mean to say is like they try to bring reform within the field of education through NEP and the implementation. And to provide more opportunities to students who are there.
Yeah, sure.
Like access to more knowledge.
Knowledge, it could be technological advancement, we can say, even in the area of inclusive education, especially children with special needs, for them, how new things can be implemented in the schools. Many of the parents were not aware of this part. Now the awareness has been created through this, where they can bring their children to such schools and they can get educated for them.
Great. Next question to you, ma'am. What impact might NEP 2020 have on rural economies, especially regarding vocational training and skill development? Here I am emphasizing on vocational because why there is a more focus on vocational part. That is the question.
The concept of vocationalization, if we go back, I would say this is a great thought given by our great leader, that is our Mahatma Gandhi ji, that is learning by doing, and through him the thought of the vocationalization of education is very, very important. We know our population, if we see our population is not that, the standard of living of population is not that high.
Yeah.
People are belonging to the higher income group, middle income group and lower income
Yes,
group.
absolutely.
So from that angle and from our rural areas, if we see how we can make our children who are belonging to the rural areas self-sufficient, and that's why if we give more importance to the skill development and to vocationalization of education, the opportunities for them will increase. They can become self-sufficient, and thereby it is going to have a greater impact on our economic development, on our GDP and on our national income too.
It will basically reduce the dependency of our country over other countries as
Yes.
well. We can say that.
Yes,
Once
surely.
we started, when we have a greater impact in manufacturing, that means the people should know how to manufacture it first.
Yes.
That is mainly focused here.
Basically, when we say rural areas,
Yeah.
suppose if I take an example of Maharashtra itself,
Yeah.
interior of Maharashtra, if we go, there are so many options in the coastal area itself. If you can try to have materials, raw materials coming from the nature,
Yeah.
thereby only they can develop their own skills, how it can be implemented for manufacturing, for production and for supply.
Great.
Okay, so this is again a link which will help the people not to be unemployed.
Yeah.
First, unemployment problem will be solved, poverty will be reducing, and thereby they will be self-sufficient, that is they will be educated, and thereby they will be able to slowly increase their business too.
Great. Now, in what ways can early childhood education reforms under NEP 2020 contribute to long-term economic growth?
Yes, of course, ECC education policy which has been come
What
up,
is ECC, ma'am? Can
that
you
is
please
early
explain?
childhood
Okay.
education. Again, when we say about this, especially focusing on the children which is very small, that is the elementary level. Okay, and when we say this, the teachers who are teaching to these children
Yeah.
have to be trained in that manner, where especially the courses which are available to them, they have to be reformed, first thing. Second, the practical aspect, that is what you teach, have to be related or correlated with the practical aspect. Suppose if you are teaching something with the colors, how the colors are going to be implemented in a different angles, whether it is from the mathematical point of view, whether it is from a social point of view. Like suppose if I am saying red color, how red color can be correlated, whether when you want to say something with the cross, then it comes to the ambulance, okay, it comes to the doctor.
Yeah.
So how you can relate this part when you're talking about elementary level, again you are making the child much more aware of the things what is there in the society,
Yeah.
rather than just giving the theoretical aspect.
Yeah.
Give them opportunities where the child can explore.
Yes.
Give them so many things, like suppose activity based learning, whereby you can make the child engaged and learn. That is very important, what the NEP is trying to focus on. Make them, learn them, explore them, which is very, very important.
Great, ma'am. Next question to you is, how will NEP 2020 emphasis on experiential and practical learning affect India's entrepreneurship landscape?
Yes. Suppose if I am giving an example of entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
this term is still has to explore a lot, because right from the school children till university level students, because now this is a concept which is very, very important. If the student, suppose because of the financial condition he cannot continue with his education, then what is the next step for him?
Yeah.
Whether he can do a startup, whether he can start something, whether he can earn from his home, or whether he can start with a small investment, how he can start his business. So this kind of awareness with regards to entrepreneur, how as an entrepreneur, how am I going to start? What are the likely things where I can put my step. Third step is whether I will be able to face with the competition which is outside. And these all things, the knowledge of this has to be started right from the school level.
Yes.
So somewhere a merging of this knowledge with respect to the school, with respect to the junior college, with respect to the degree college, if we can slowly, if we can try to merge the knowledge of entrepreneurship, no matter what, where the student stops his education, whether he's in the city, towns or in the rural areas, he can become independent and start up his own business where he can become a full-fledged entrepreneur.
Great.
So this is the knowledge which has to be explored, and that is what the focus of NEP.
Yeah. So the NEP is trying to introduce the concepts of entrepreneurship at the earlier stages itself, of earlier stages of learning, so that whenever a student passes the grade,
maybe SSC,
clears the grade, after that he should have something in his hand for the bread and butter.
Yes. So that is again whether it's a knowledge or whether it is an implication of knowledge. That is
so this can be quite misguided, because there are some examples currently going on in social media. I would like to highlight that also. There is this MBA chaiwala. He puts his degree as his advertisement, but that is highly misleading. There are some negative examples as well. So the thing is, when these things are implemented, you will know what we should not do. We should not do like him. I'm not just targeting him as such. There are several, I don't know, Bhelpuri wali. So many things are there which is currently going on in social media. But the things which you can sensibly implement, that NEP focuses on more in the curriculum.
So curriculum has to be taught in that manner, where the role of a teacher, she has to give the practical examples. What is happening outside, what are the realities of life, how the social media is putting forward some negative aspect, that also has to be made very clear. So these young minds should not be getting diverted. Okay,
we can even take this people as a case study for them.
Very important. So research, we can try to implement research also in these areas, whereby we can come to know how the children are getting distracted with such media, whatever the media is trying to reflect. So how that is going to affect the young minds. So we can have this research area. In this also we can conduct the researches.
Absolutely. Next question to you, ma'am, is what are economic implications of making board exam less stressful and knowledge based?
Okay. Previously, when we used to have board exams, firstly the parents are stressed out, and then the children are stressed out, and also the teachers are stressed out.
It's like the end of the world though.
So SSC board exams means right from 8th standard, the parents become more cautious. What you're going to become, they go on asking question, and then they pressurize the children. Even the school will start pressurizing that maths and science is very important. Why such kind of importance only to two subjects, that is science and maths? If I'm a student and if I likes only English literature, not science and maths, then what should be done for such cases? So this is where now the Department of Education should take a step ki whether the board examinations are necessary, and if it is yes, then how it has to be implemented at the yearly basis. Like you can try to have twice, again the assessment can be distributed with, that is 6 months and 6 months, or maybe 3 months and 3 months, not pressurizing more on the theory writing. Giving more importance to the practical aspect, because if the child is interested in something like certain skills, so why not give some percentage for vocationalization, some percentage for something which is practically implemented, so thereby the pressure of learning and just writing the exams will be less. And this should not be taken as a competition, because one student may be very very bright in science, but the other student may be very very bright in literature part. Okay, so this discrimination, the child starts discriminating, and thereby the parents will also have that mindset
yeah.
कि why my child is not good in science.
Yeah.
So I would say all the subjects are equally important, but again priority should be given to the students' interest, and thereby pressurizing, that is from the board level, I would say should be reduced. I would say 70-30%. It could be more better if we give this flexibility to the schools and to the students. That will be far more better for their future.
That will be a greater option. To be very honest, it is quite stressful for students of board. The students who are giving board examinations
Yeah.
currently, they have to study syllabus from the starting to the end.
Yeah.
So it becomes highly stressful for them to remember everything, especially in subjects like chemistry
Yeah.
and physics. Students go very stressful. So this stress can be reduced as we can bifurcate the portions according to the semesters as ma'am suggested. Next question to you. It was great, actually great idea. Hope the government implements it. Next is how can promoting lingualism under NEP 2020 benefits India economically on a global scale?
When we talk about multilingualism, we as Indians, how much we are aware of the languages, which is very important.
Yes.
If I am belonging to Maharashtra, am I able to get adjusted if I go to southern states? Am I able to get adjusted to the northern states? So that is where the culture, what is our culture, what is the importance of our culture, and how rich we are in culture, plus the languages, the dialects what we have in our own country, respecting these other regional languages are also equally important. And that's why the school, right from the school level, if we try to give importance to all the languages, whether it is a Hindi, whether it is a Marathi, or whether it is English or Gujarati or Tamil or Malayali, all these languages are having a greater impact. And thereby, if we try to have the students giving importance to the mother tongue first, if he learns first his mother tongue properly, then only he can learn the other languages. So this is very, very important what the NEP is trying to stress out, that is more importance to be given to the regional language, where he will learn in his own mother tongue first, better understand his own language, and then he can try to have more emphasis on the other languages. So this is what multilingualistic, because in future if the student passes out his BCom, BA or post graduation also, and for job purpose if he goes from one state to another state, then he should be able to adjust there. He should be able to make himself adjust to the surrounding, because people there, if they are speaking Tamil in Tamil Nadu, or people who are speaking in Kerala Malayali, or in if he is going to Jammu Kashmir also, so here you should not have that barrier, language barrier.
Yes.
At least that mindset should be very clear कि I am going there and I am able to adjust. So why not this culture, this atmosphere, if we can create right from the school level, it will be far more better for our citizens.
Great. Multilingualism as an aspect is a very much powerful, powerful thing for our country as such, because we have so much languages, so many languages to speak, and it is very rare for people to be multilingualistic here as well.
Yes.
For foreign people are in awe, like you know more than 2 languages. That's great thing. That is like achieved very, very easily in our country like India.
I would say that Sanskrit is the major language, and if we will try to give emphasis on Sanskrit, if we learn Sanskrit, then it will be more easier to learn other languages.
Yeah, and they say the Ved and all that, the teachings of Ved is also somewhere implemented in NEP. We are following back to our roots.
Yes.
That is the great pride we should take.
And that is what NEP is trying to emphasize.
Yes,
we should go back to our own traditions, to our roots, which is very important.
Next question to you is, in what ways does NEP 2020 support job creation in emerging economic sectors like artificial intelligence and renewable energy?
So when we talk about now technology advancements, there are a lot of research and innovations which are happening in these areas. AI is already been now coming and having a lot of exposure to the students, especially 8, 9, 10 student and also 11th and the higher classes. So if this is a demand, we should go according to the demand. And what NEP is trying to say, ki yes, of course, artificial intelligence is also very, very important. We should learn it and how to be implemented at the future level. But again, there are more disadvantages too, because somewhere we are curbing the originality, the knowledge what the person is having.
Yes.
So that creativity वो बरकरार रखना है. That is very much important, that creativity and innovativeness of his own ideas what he is having should not be suppressed with this AI. Yes, there has to be a balance between what artificial intelligence is giving and what the person is already having the existing knowledge. So that has to be balanced. And in future point of view, this is going to have a greater impact on the economic point of view, because we will have that many number of engineers, that many number of scientists, that many number of researchers, which are going to have again a greater impact on the production part and the future manufacturing, or it could be from the economic growth and development of our country.
There is one question which goes a bit tangent from our topic right now. Let us focus on the artificial intelligence as a concept now. So when I talk about artificial intelligence as a concept, there is a thinking that there will be a time that where people will be replaced by artificial intelligence.
Yes.
So there are some news which came across even in India. There is a robot teacher to teach in schools.
Yeah.
So what would be the impact of such aspects, such elements among the education, among the students who are seeking education?
Very relevant question, Mahalakshmi, you have put up.
Yeah.
And it is a need of the hour, I would say, because when we say about artificial intelligence and robotics in education, we have been seeing the surgeries and all which have been in the medical area. The surgeries have been happening through robotics. But why not in education? This is still a question mark. Can we replace teacher with the robots?
Question.
Okay, and that is where I would say robots can give everything, but can the robot understand the emotion of a person?
Yeah.
Because we are handling young minds, we are handling young children, and every individual is different from the other, and every individual is having his own emotion. So how the robot is going to understand the emotion of the student? If Mahalakshmi is a student and if I am a robot, am I able to understand what is going in her mind?
Absolutely not.
If she is not interested today in my lecture, will I able to understand why she is not focusing on my lecture? What emotions are going in her mind? The teacher only can personally, can physically understand what is her problem rather than the robotics.
Yeah, to sum it up, we can say there won't be an emotional connect among teacher student, and secondly, the attention factor. It might turn to nil among the students, since robots might be, even if you put sensors for whether the students are listening, it's not an emotional approach there. It's like a disciplinary approach there.
Yes, of course. So we can say the students in the future, what students are we going to create? If the robots will be handling the students, what will be basically, are we be able to develop their values? Will be able to develop their emotional well-being, which is very, very important, because we want our citizen to be value-based, emotionally well-being, which is balanced personality. Can the robot do this? This is my question, because
to our audience.
Yes, this is my question, because can a robot become a mother? Can a robot become a daughter? Because this connect of a mother and a child, a teacher and a student, that connection can never happen with the machines, I would
Yeah.
say. And this is a open question to all of you. Can a robot replace a teacher?
Good one, mom. I hope all of you will answer down in comments.
Yes.
Next, what could be the long-term economic effects of NEP's 2020 focus on critical thinking and creativity?
Yes. Of course, we are having a rich minds in our own country.
Yeah.
We have great brains in our country, but I don't want our brains to go in other country, and that is what I would say, brain drain.
Yeah.
We should think about back to our country, what can we give. I'm not saying, yes, economically we are much more behind what the other countries' pay packages are, okay?
Yeah.
And that's why the pay packages are being attracted to the young minds and they go in the other countries. But you should think about our own country. How are we going to then develop? What are your contributions to your own country as a scientist, as a researcher, or as a surgeon, or as a teacher also? Many of you are now going to the foreign countries because you're getting a very good packages. So you should somewhere be a change maker, and if you can stand and do something for our own country, yes, of course there will be a drastic change for our economic point of view, and our country will also be one of the best country throughout the world because the brains are here in our own country.
Great answer, ma'am. I hope all the youths are listening
Yes.
to this, because this is one factor that can, add value add for our country's future here. So what we are experiencing currently, we are outsourcing so many brilliant minds outside the countries. They are establishing themselves there. We lose such value because we are not able to provide that much here. But why is the question? Why we are not able to? So that why should be answered by the current times, how we can develop it, how we can implement it, and how well we can keep such minds here to work for us rather than other countries.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Next question to you is, how will the introduction of multidisciplinary studies in NEP 2020 influence the future economic landscape?
Of course, this is which is being slowly it is being incorporated in many private institutions and at the university level. Because now, if the students wants to, if he is already doing biotechnology, or if he is doing BSc, simple plain BSc, and if he wants to learn something MA in Sanskrit, or something small courses in language, or in something with other Jainism, or something with the philanthropics, or something with respect to philosophy you want to study, of course he can go for it. And this is what the NEP is trying to encourage the young minds, ki why not they should have a greater scope for learning, because if they are only focused on one area, then they will be only gaining and getting mastery in that own area. But what about the other areas? If he is already having a liking to study with literature part, or something with respect to ethics part, or something with respect to the management studies, why not the science student can go for something with respect to management studies?
Yeah.
So here is where we can try to have multidisciplinary areas in the institutions, which will have a growth for the institution, that is the private universities or private institutions or government institutions also, and also it will lead in future that student might have something innovative ideas future, how it can help for our country from economic point of view, or something from the production. Because if he is not getting a job because he is a plain BSc, but if he has done something with the management studies, he can have a greater scope for getting a job in future. So our unemployment problem can be solved from this future angle. If we go for multidisciplinary, we will have curbing on our poverty line as well as unemployment problems. So the major social issues, that is poverty and unemployment problem, can be solved. And that is what
we are going a bit tangent now, ma'am. Like in current youth, there is a tendency, like this is my opinion, this is absolutely my opinion, no resource from any end. So I feel like people want to get rich very early,
Yeah.
and they want to settle down very early. Even in the minds of students, I can sense this. So why this mentality is being developed?
Of course, what they see on the social media, the films, one day, one day the miracle can happen. This
Yeah.
is what the falsy things are there. ये एक पर्दा है आंखों के सामने. They should know the other side of it, okay?
Yeah.
Which is very important because it's not easy. See, our forefathers, our old generation, they have taken lot of hard troubles. They have seen lot of taken hardship to come ahead. Those times were different. Today's time is different. We have lot of opportunities. I'm not saying that you should not earn big packages. That's there. But now, if we see, is there happiness in the family?
No.
First question. Second, why the divorce rates are increasing?
Yeah.
This is the second thing. The children are not taking care of their parents. They're putting in the orphanages. Why we are so selfish minded? Why we are so money minded? We are just running behind the money. So again, we are lacking behind with the values. Second, money is not the only ultimate for your life.
Yeah.
I would say with money, you should also have
Family.
family. You should also give time to your family and the quality time, which is very important. Our old forefathers were there. They used to have family time more.
Yeah.
Why? Because that happiness was there. Now we could see people are just engaged in earning money, and at the end of the day, they couldn't give single time for their parents or to the family members. So this is an open question to all of you. Think about your future. Why we are going to become so selfish? Are you having a quality life? The days will be gone, then you will be repenting, ki why not I have spent time with my family. So give time, give a balanced time. I'm not saying professionally and personally there should be a balanced time.
I would like to add up one more question along with Dr. Sheetal. That is, how many of you actually sit with your parents and have your 3 days meals, like breakfast, lunch and dinner? Even once you eat, then you are successful in life. That is what I feel. You should sit together, eat. Comment down below how many of you do that.
Because nowadays I would see there are families which have changed their system,
Yeah.
right? From joint family they have become nuclear families.
Nuclear family.
Especially in the urban cities and town, people are having Zomato, Swiggy. They don't want to cook food, they don't want to have breakfast, and everything is ready-made. So they don't have time at all because they are so busy in their own life. So they are not able to give time to their own children. So poor children, in the morning if they leave the house for the job, and at the night if they come, where is the time for your kids?
Yeah.
How is your going? Your parenting is very important for your child. Then only they will become a very good citizen. So try to reflect on this part, and it's a crucial time now that we have to open the minds of our young youths. Just don't go behind earning and earning.
Great answer, ma'am. Now, final question for this podcast. It has been an interesting ride to ask and learn so many things. Final question for you from my end. That is, how might NEP 2020's focus on environmental education contribute to India's sustainable economic growth? I would like to add a follow-up question regarding pollution that is currently a big headache,
Yeah.
which is there right now. If you see this states like Delhi, there is major, there is called AQI index, a term that is air quality index. It is very bad there, even in the major cities of India. Not only in India, there are some measures that have came up.
Yeah.
Can't we implement that in here? Is a second follow-up question, and why we are not doing it?
Yeah. First and foremost, we are so populated.
Yeah.
Our country is so populated. Our demands are increasing. As the previous question is been linked with it,
Yeah.
we are just behind money.
Yeah.
So once the money comes, our mindset is we should have luxurious life. Second, if I am having one two-wheeler, I will be going for four-wheeler also. If not one four-wheeler, again the second four-wheeler, because still more branded. Okay, so we are now going for more and more brands. But to have these branded products in the market, again that many production is happening. But we have to think from all angles whether we are able to balance our environment, because that many factories which are giving out whatever the chemical things which are being given out, whether through sewage or whether in the air, so the pollutions which are being happening in the society is going to have hazardous effect on our young generation's health. If you see the major heart attacks or the skin problems or the other diseases which are being happening, this last 5 years, if we see the count, is at very higher level. Previously, our old father and our old generations never used to have such diseases. Why? Because the environment was so clean and they were very cautious and they were very satisfied with what they were having. 2 times ka meal was more than sufficient for them. But now we are not eating homemade food.
Yeah.
We are going for all outside food, a junk food, which is again a dangerous for our life. Secondly, whatever things are being produced, that is going to have a greater impact on our environment, and we have been facing last 3-4 years, there is no proper season in our own Mumbai city, if we can see. A lot of rains, lot of heat, which is not at all tolerant. Last May, if we can see the April-May season, it was unbearable for each one of us. So I would suggest that every citizen, if we take a step, whether it is using a single tissue paper, if we can avoid that, using plastic products, if we can avoid this at our own level, we can start from our own home, it will be really advantage for the next 10 years. So this is my question to all of you. Are you a responsible citizen for your environment? That's it.
Whoa, this was something actually. So as you heard, my dear audiences, please refrain yourself from using something which is harmful for environment. I am not saying to completely abandon it, but try to reduce it try to use it in a moderate level. Not completely, you cannot abandon anything, but try to reduce it sensibly. You can do it. So that is how we can get into a habit. How we can adopt a habit. So it starts from home, as Sheetal ma'am mentioned. So this was a wrap up of NEP 2020 intertwined with our economy. I hope all the students of education, all the students of different field will love to learn more. If you want more or part 2, you can always mention in a comment down below. So this is your host, Miss Pillai, signing off. Thank you, Dr. Sheetal.
Thank you so much, Mahalakshmi. Thank you all of you. Have a great day.